Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Yeah. Welcome to another evening of Livewire Radio 95.7 FM and livewireradio.com. You know who I be? I'm DP alongside J Star. And you know who over here, Mr.
You don't know Sean DP?
Yeah. So, and tonight we're getting a couple of topics. There's a couple of things that happened, bro. And we really got to get into it and talk about it. J Star, what you say, everyone?
Good night, everyone. Real quick. We just want to touch on some of the things that just been happening in Jamaica in terms of the Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Andrew Holness.
Yeah, Mr. Andrew
Holness.
Holness, right? A guy that was born in July 1972.
Mm-hmm.
Right? See,
2 years younger than me.
He's young.
Yeah, he's a young politician.
No, he's 2 years older. 72, right? 2 years older, yeah.
Are you finished?
Yeah. Go on, do your thing.
All right. So he's been around for a while.
So that means I'm ripe to go into Jamaica and run for prime minister. Because if him can't be prime minister, why me can't do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So what were your questions, Star?
So he's been around for a little while. A minute, right?
Yeah.
Very young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Young flamboyant type prime minister.
So something happened recently, right?
Uh-huh.
So the Jamaican community didn't really like when he was supporting or giving out condolence to the what you called again?
Prince
of Britain.
Yeah, Prince Philip.
Prince of
the one time colonizer of Jamaica.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that guy.
So he was the slave master.
Yeah.
Of Jamaica.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Jamaican people, the Jamaican community didn't really appreciate him. Mm-hmm. Saying good things about the master at one point.
Right.
So how you really feel about it?
I think he can give a condolence to it, you understand, but I think people are more upset that he paid more attention to that
than
the issues that's Jamaica
affecting
face.
Jamaica. Yeah.
Because if you look at the comments and the posts, right, people were saying more like he should focus on the issues such as violence against women in Jamaica, because that's like something recently that's going on. And if you have if we talk about the guy yesterday, we talk about George Wright, aka George Wrong. Andrew Holness haven't come out yet and
say a word about it. Right, agree.
And people are outraged that he hasn't said anything. And according to the media, George Wright going to police custody, get questioned and walk free. He didn't get charged or anything like that. And that's another outrage, and people are expecting the Prime Minister to say
step
something.
Up, yeah.
Because he is
he's the leader of the country.
He's the leader.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
With all of the violence against women, when he came out the other day and talked about Kanye Jackson case.
Right. Put a little light on it.
He talked about that and act like he was
interested in.
But he actually visited her mom.
Yeah. So
but that can be politics.
So this is what I'm talking about, right? Jamaican politicians are so camera happy, video light happy. They love to create a PR campaign. All politics in Jamaica is about PR campaigning. It's not about solving the issues. It's about who can go up on social media and get the most likes. Who can do something with gesture. And the thing is this, right? The Jamaican people have to understand is that we are paying taxes. So whatever the government do for us, you understand? The politician is not the person that's doing it.
It's the people doing it for the people.
Yeah, it's the people doing it. So when these politicians go out into the communities and give out tablets or make a new road, them act like them I do it.
I know them.
Yeah. And them I do it. It's the people of Jamaica do it. The people of Jamaica are paying their money to do it. And it's all about this PR campaigning. And going back to what with Prince Philip. Yeah, that's why people were so outraged, because the prime minister is not taking any action. You understand? To me, I'm very disappointed in Andrew Holness, because
that was your man.
In the beginning, I was saying Andrew Holness was the person that's going to change the country, because he made some bold talk. I never heard any Jamaican politician made before. But no, when it comes down to crime, he's very soft. You understand?
And missing.
The major issue in Jamaica is about crime. I believe Andrew Holness has the economic knowledge on fixing Jamaica problem, but he doesn't have the knowledge to solve the crime problem. And without solving the crime problem, you can't
Economics can't come.
You can't solve the economic problem that Jamaica face. The country cannot grow. Jamaica GDP for years been
Stagnant.
been below 0% for years. 0.1%. That's mediocre growth. You understand? And for us as a nation to thrive and do, like, you know, become like a first world country, we need to fix crime, because nobody want to invest their money in Jamaica
In a crime-ridden
with a crime-ridden country. You understand? And with a justice system
that is woefully wanting.
Yeah. So, you know, like if you look at recently with the whole case with Dogpa,
Him walk.
and just walk off. You understand? So, like,
You put a lot of things out there so to unpack.
yeah. So it's like,
You know,
for me, with this comment, right? I don't mind him saying something about the monarch, because Jamaica is a monarch, constitutional monarch. But I don't mind him saying something like to give condolence, but at the same time, you need to focus on the issues that's affecting Jamaica.
So you hear what me say, right? My view on the whole thing. Yeah, you don't dance on somebody's grave when they're dead, right? When the dead is there, and as head of state for Jamaica.
He's not the head of state.
Well, he's the head of Jamaica.
No, he's not the head of Jamaica. Queen Elizabeth is the head
I
of
understand,
state.
but he is the one that's representing. He is the head of Jamaica.
He's the right-hand man to the Queen.
Right. I understand
That's it,
that.
yeah.
I understand that from the structural system. But
Yeah.
anywhere in the world you go, he is the head of Jamaica. He represents Jamaica. He is the one. Anything he says reflects on Jamaica. So here's the point. Him being the head of state, quote unquote head of state of Jamaica, it's appropriate for him to say, you know what? Jamaica sends its condolences. Period. The end of it, done. No further. Right? Because if you look at the British system, if you look at the Queen, the whole royal system, that royally F Jamaica consistently, because I think that they prevent Jamaica from even enacting certain laws that could help the crime in Jamaica. They have to follow by what these people are saying. So Jamaica is not benefiting from the whole thing that's setting up there. So with him going further and take it a step further, like Shani B said, Jamaica have whole heap of issue, economically and crime ridden, right? No, we just see, like we talk about Mr. Wrong,
George Wrong,
who beat up a woman, take a chair and lick a woman in her face, right? Jamaica, we should have been Jamaica, for real, we should be so embarrassed right now that a man get up and take a chair, lick a woman in her face, and treat the woman in the way that he did,
and he's a member.
and it's recorded on video. He's a member of parliament. That makes it even worse. And then this guy got not even get pick up. Let me not say pick up by the police. They invite him in for questioning. Okay? He gets invited in for questioning. And he goes in for questioning. And you're telling me that there's not one prosecutor in Jamaica can look at that video and recognize that this man abused this woman and it was wrong and that this man need to pay a price. You're going to tell me that there's no charges against it and he walk out of that station like, come on, man.
This is the thing.
It's a joke.
This is the thing with
Definitely.
and you see, even like you touch on that with the prosecutor being able to go after the politician. It justice system is weak.
It is,
because you see, like in America, right? If something like this happen and the person just go in a police station and walk off, there's a prosecutor that's gonna come after you.
Of course, you're gonna be prosecuted.
And the prosecutor is motivated to put the person behind bars.
Absolutely,
because the prosecutor knows that, hey, I'm gonna get promoted,
and that's gonna build my career.
That's gonna build my career.
Jamaica need that system.
Jamaican prosecutors don't have that drive.
Right.
To do that.
Right.
You understand? Everything fall
and they're afraid of the politician too. They're afraid.
Yeah, it fall under the DPP office, which is Paula Lowell. And she is the main prosecutor in the country, right? And I don't understand the system, because to me it always seems like, maybe I could be wrong, people, but it doesn't seem like Jamaica have like a system where you have multiple prosecutors go after You understand? Like with different offices.
Right. Everybody's under one roof, and then if we decide we not do it, Another prosecutor can pick it up and say, "Yo, that happened," which is wrong.
If everything is under one roof, right? If Jamaica, you just have one like branch of prosecutors in Jamaica. I propose that each parish
should have their own prosecutors.
Absolutely. Should have their own prosecutor.
Independent of anything else.
Each parish should have its own prosecutor and its own like prosecutor department or office. You understand? Because that separate like the system, the bureaucracy.
Right.
You understand? Because if you have one office that's saying they're the prosecutor for the whole island.
Yeah.
Right. It's more likely for corruption to happen, because if corruption infiltrate
if I get to him, then everything good. Yeah.
If corruption infiltrate that one institution, right, then you have a problem where justice cannot be handed down, because the prosecutors in that one institution is not motivated to solve the crime or go after people.
Right.
So if you spread it out now, where you have independent prosecutors in each parish or prosecutorial offices in each parish, it's more likely that you're going to have justice being served, because you're going to have prosecutors going after these individuals.
And if it's within their jurisdiction.
Yes, exactly.
But then a step further than that is that even though you should have independent prosecutors in all 14 parishes.
Yeah.
Independent prosecutors that can run case. But then you should have a more federal system with an attorney general who can make a decision to say, okay, we noticed that the prosecutor in Sentan didn't go after this case. I can now take this case because I'm the attorney general for the entire island. And I can now take this case, or my department can take this case, and we can review it. And if we feel like laws were broken and people's rights were violated, we can then now go after these people.
I believe Paula Lowell is like the federal prosecutor,
like the attorney general.
Yeah, she's like that. But in my opinion,
but she's still governing the local.
Yeah, she's
so it's not independent.
It's not
independent. It has to be independent.
It needs to be separated.
Right. So okay.
Yeah.
You guys make some I like the point that Dave just make in terms of you having a federal prosecutor where can pick up case, and then also you mentioned a great point in terms of having different prosecutor and different offices, because it's if all of us is working together, obviously be
Jay, don't prosecute that.
Yeah, leave that person. I say we should just do this, right?
Yeah.
So this is the thing, though, right? This for a system like this to take place, it requires a constitutional change, and if Jamaica is going to go ahead and enact a system like this, it makes sense for us to become a republic.
Right.
In this case. And this comes back to what we were talking about with Prince Philip.
Absolutely.
It brings up the idea of us becoming a republic instead of a monarch. Because Jamaica Constitution is not written by Jamaicans. Like how the American Constitution is written by Americans.
Right.
It's written by England.
But my question is, right?
Yeah.
Jamaica is suffering from a battered woman's syndrome. Battered woman syndrome basically says that a woman in a relationship with a man and the man beat her every day, she love him more. The same thing like when you have, and she will profess and she will do whatever. And Jamaica is like that. Jamaica has been abused by the UK. It has. If you really look at it, if you really want to be honest with yourself about it, the systems, the problems that Jamaica face, right? And dealing with crime. I'm not talking about economically, because economics will come if crime go. But dealing with crime, Jamaica get handcuffed by the monarch, right? Based upon the fact that they feel as if, okay, well, we don't do this, and the resources that England has, Jamaica do not have. The kind of things that England or the UK can do, Jamaica cannot do. So Jamaica's laws have to kind of reflect and work within the rims of what they have. Jamaica right now, you can't. The Crown is against the death penalty. If like even with the Vibes Cartel case, he's appealing to the Privy Council. It makes no sense. Your slave master now said to you, you're free, but then your slave master still making decision as to what you do in your country. It don't make sense to me.
Well, all right. So this is the thing, right? A lot of people agree with what you say, and both political parties agree that Jamaica should break away from the monarch to get that independence. And instead of the Privy Council being the final court of appeal in Jamaica, it would be the Caribbean Court of Justice, which would make the whole CARICOM thing come together.
Okay.
Right, it would be the Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm still not.
But we have to see how that working, because
Yeah,
that's still a pit. I think you have to be careful.
Yeah, I'm not. It's still with the whole thing with the Privy Council. I'm not 100% against the Privy Council, because again, it kind of takes away the corruption side of things, because the Privy Council is not corrupt.
Right.
You understand?
No, I understand that.
Yes, and Jamaica has a lot of corruption going on.
I understand, but they're still making decisions on Jamaica's
Yeah,
future.
but you have to be careful. Like this is where Andrew Holness and myself agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like he says, basically, we should get an economic independence before we go for our political independence. Because Jamaica thinks that we politically free from the crown, but we're not, right? So,
But
Andrew Holness is saying, basically, do the economic first and fix whatsoever here right now, and then we go for the full independence.
But here's where I disagree with Andrew.
Yeah.
You cannot have an economical independence. You cannot have an economic boom in Jamaica until the crime get fixed. And the UK system is hampering Jamaica from taking some real hard step to fix that problem. So we're in the cycle.
But the thing is that, are the politicians willing to make those steps? Because again, they can make amendments to the Constitution,
right,
to make it work.
Right.
But the politicians are
They're not
Jamaica not willing to make that change.
let me ask a question, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Holness, he's been sworn in as Minister of Education in 2007, September of 2007, right?
Under what's his name? Bruce Gurlin, yeah.
Yeah, so we would like to say that he's a very smart guy. Like Shawnee mentioned earlier in the video, right? That he had some bold statement, right?
He's very smart. I don't take that from him. And the oldest is very smart.
Oldest, to correct you. So, like, we would like to say that he's a smart guy, right? Mm-hmm. And he made some bold comments to get into office, right?
Right.
My question is, right? It's been years, and every country you go to, the community always have an issue with the with the president or the prime minister and so on, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you feel like, because Jamaica is still under the leadership of Britain, right? Do you feel like it's some certain restrictions there that he's not able to make certain things that he want to do?
No, he's the prime minister.
Mm-hmm.
He has absolute power in a way. He has absolute powers. He can go ahead and make amendments to the Constitution. He can override. If the Queen come from England and say, "Yo, I want to do this," he can override it. Parliament can override it. You understand? It's the same thing in the UK. It's because the monarch is more of a
figurhead, really.
A figurehead,
yeah,
pretty much. It's more for ceremonial purposes.
Right.
You understand? You can override it. However, with the whole, we talked about this before with the whole mental health issue that Jamaica has, with the idea of the symbolism that's there, right, with the crown, and people of Jamaica knowing that, yeah, this is what enslaved us, this is what brought oppression to us.
Right.
It puts people mindset in a way where it's like, oh, we really don't care. This is not our land.
Right.
You don't feel like it's our land. You feel like we're
still ruled by the British.
Exactly. Because you're still going into the courtroom saying, God save the Queen.
Which should stop.
When the Queen is the one that enslaved you.
Right.
You still, you still have, when you go into Parliament, they have the throne speech, which is a speech of like the Queen. But in the Queen's place in Jamaica is the Governor General that does it.
Yeah.
The throne speech. You still have the man them walk around with them British military uniform around there, and Jamaica adopted the British military traditions as ours. So a lot of our history is entangled with England.
Right.
So it's like, it's difficult, in my opinion, it's very difficult for Jamaica to leave the system without taking that with us.
Right.
Because we already tangle ourselves with us.
Right.
You see, that's why I said, like with Guyana and some and other countries, what they did immediately after independence is to dissolve the system. They said, look, we don't want the colonial system. Jamaica, hang on to it.
Right.
And in some cases, that made Jamaica successful and not successful.
Right.
You understand? And if you look at, and you see, the thing is that system would be successful right, without the crime issue that Jamaica has right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because post the crime issue, which was post Siaga and Manley era, Jamaica economy was thriving. Jamaica economy was growing the same rate as Singapore,
Right.
right? But as soon as the 80s hit, where you had that 1980s election or mid 70s,
Right.
right, Jamaica economy tanked because of the crime issue that started happening in Jamaica.
Well, if
So you see, ever since that happened, Jamaica economy been stagnant.
no, but you see, I remember, and this is something that I remember. You bring up the economy and how the economy move. I remember as a kid back in Jamaica, right, in the 80s, right, where Jamaican dollar was $1 to one Jamaican dollar, and Jamaica was going. The reason, and we have to talk about the real true reason why Jamaica economy is the way it is.
It's crime.
Crime contributes to it, but I'm gonna tell you what it is, and a lot of people are gonna hear this and they're gonna feel in their feelings, but it's the facts, and you could go look it up. In the 80s, when Edward Siaga came to the U.S. and brought the CIA into Jamaica to destabilize the country. And when they brought them in there because they wanted to win the election, the 80 election, and after the CIA came in and destabilized Jamaica, one of the agreements that they had was that Jamaica had to become involved with the IMF, the international
Exactly.
right? And once Jamaica got involved with, and let me tell you something, it's just like if you have your house or you go borrow money from somebody. When you're in debt to somebody, you have to work based upon what. And when the IMF came in, the IMF said to Jamaica, there are certain things that you must do to pay us back this money that we're giving you. And those things that Jamaica started to do, and Jamaica started to tanking Jamaica's economy and start causing the economy to go. So the crime then at that point, because the real true crime in Jamaica started in the 80s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not entirely the British.
It's not. No, I agree.
Monarch system that's causing it. It's
no,
not.
I agree that.
You understand? I say it contribute to it in a way, but for example, that's a big issue with Jamaica economy, the IMF.
Yeah.
And I have to give Andrew Holness credit, and I have to give Peter Phillips credit, which is the PMP.
Right.
Cause Peter Phillips only want to be prime minister and never wind up being prime minister. Long story short.
Yeah.
But Peter Phillips, when he was in power, when Portia Simpson Miller was in power, right? Peter Phillips was the brainchild behind Portia Simpson Miller, in my opinion. Peter Phillips was more the prime minister, because Portia cannot run a country. I would just say that. Peter Phillips was the one that was running Jamaica, right? Peter Phillips went into an agreement with the IMF that put Jamaica on this program that managed Jamaica debt, and that program is paying off today. Because I remember back in those days, Jamaicans were crying that they have to pay a whole heap of taxes, GCT taxes.
Right, I remember GCT.
Yeah, and they must say, yo, Peter and Portia hit with the taxes, but that was a necessary move to get the country out of debt. Because Jamaica debt to GDP ratio at that time was 149% of GDP.
Right.
And Jamaica got to a point where it couldn't borrow any more money from the IMF or the World Bank because Jamaica credit is bad.
Right.
So now, Peter Phillips went into that program, and Jamaica came out to that program right now victorious, because Jamaica debt to GDP ratio, the last time I checked, is 95%.
Right, so we're going down.
It's declining, and they say by 2025 it should be 60% of GDP. Right? So this is the thing, right? If Jamaica debt to GDP ratio get to 60%, it allows the government to spend more money on social programs.
Right.
Invest into the police.
Agree.
And all that stuff, right?
Agree.
And if the more money the government have, right, the more you will see more more justice being delivered.
Right.
The police getting better, right? And the thing is that currently Jamaica don't have any money.
Right.
Because debt to GDP ratio is 95%.
Right. So everything you make, you pay back.
Yeah, pay back everything, and you only have 5% of your GDP that you can spend on social programs. It's getting better now.
Yeah.
But before it couldn't.
You're right.
And we can talk about why Jamaica get into that situation where debt to GDP ratio was at 49%. And I again, it's not the JLP problem, it's the PNP problem.
Right.
Yes, and because they borrowed a lot of money.
Right.
And a lot of those money that's borrowed is missing.
Right.
It's corruption.
Well-
if that money was invested in Jamaica, Jamaica would be in a different places because no, the money that we borrowed would be yielding back.
Right, but here's the thing.
So,
when you talk
yeah.
about the money that borrowed, introducing the IMF into Jamaican system, and
Yeah,
not that Jamaica didn't know at the time that any country that the IMF go into and borrow and they borrow money from them get screwed. Why you think? Okay, let me tell you something. The IMF, they're here in America, right? IMF is here in the US, right? Why you think? And the money that let's get clear, the money that they're lending is not from America money, you know. Why you think America don't come to the IMF and say, yo, we borrow money? Where they go? They can go China. Why do you think that? And why do you think that with China coming into Jamaica and spending? See, America is not stupid, and you all gotta understand. America play chess when the whole heap of people are play
Mickey Mouse,
draft. America play chess. Why do you think Donald Trump and his party, who don't give a crap about Jamaica or whatever happens to Jamaica, when the Chinese went into Jamaica and started building the roads and stuff like that, they went down and says, no, we don't want this to happen.
That's true.
The reason behind it is that here's what happened, because people think China is poor. China is not poor, because the United States is borrowing money from China. Here is the thing. If the Chinese government come into Jamaica, because Jamaica has a very important strategic position where every country, talking about Russia, talking about China, they would like to be in that position, because where Jamaica is located, if they put a foothold in Jamaica, they put a missile base in Jamaica,
Or Cuba.
right? Or Cuba. That's why they pressure Cuba as much as they do. Then what happens next? American bargaining chip goes down, because we can strike your homeland in 5 seconds, right?
So yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Like, this is a lot for me to talk about. But you're talking about, so the reason why the CIA went to Jamaica, right, and why America was interested in the CIA going to Jamaica is because
of Cuba.
It's because of Cuba
And the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah,
You remember?
the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
Yes. But, so Michael Manley was best friends with Fidel Castro.
Right.
Right? And America didn't like that. You understand? And because of that, Siaga saw an opportunity. Siaga said, well...
In one into America.
So Siaga
Absolutely.
and guess what? Siaga is not born in Jamaica.
No, he's Syrian.
No, he's born in Boston, Massachusetts.
I didn't know that. I thought he was born in Syria.
Nope. Siaga is born in Boston,
That's news.
Massachusetts.
I learned something tonight. Jamaicans always talking to the Syrian.
Siaga is American. You understand?
Yeah, wow.
So Siaga saw the opportunity, right? And this is the thing with Jamaica. We have to talk a lot about this,
Yeah,
because it's the whole Commonwealth thing. That thing is messed up, because Jamaicans, right? Anybody from the Commonwealth can be a member of Jamaica Parliament or become Prime Minister. As long as you're a Commonwealth citizen, you can be Prime Minister. In theory, a Jamaican can go to England and be a MP in England or Canada. Because there was a case with a Canadian guy run for office in Jamaica and became MP with his Canadian citizenship.
Right, but I think he had to renounce his citizenship.
No.
Wasn't there something
That's
behind
Darrell Vaz.
that had to renounce his American citizenship?
Yes, that's Darrell Vaz, because America is not a part of the Commonwealth. But if you're a part of the Commonwealth where the Queen is the head of state, you can actually like run without,
Which don't make sense.
Yeah, it don't make no sense.
It
I
don't make no
believe
sense.
if you're a Jamaican,
run for Jamaica.
Run for Jamaica, you
because
understand?
your interest is gonna be different.
yeah, exactly. So with this case with Siaga, right? I believe Siaga probably gave up his. Well, those are the back in the days type of thing. I doubt that he gave up his American citizenship.
So we have to look.
Yeah, we have to look up that.
Now that you tell me that, I'm gonna research it, because I really want to dig a little bit deeper into that.
But Siaga, right? Siaga is he saw the opportunity at the time to get into power. So he said, well, let me go talk to Ronald Reagan and get the CIA to come to Jamaica and destabilize the country.
And then me put it back together.
People, if you go up online and watch this movie called Countryman, that movie tell you about the CIA and invading Jamaica, because that movie talk about this plane flying over Jamaica and crash, and then the Jamaican military look for them and can't find them. And that movie is just sending a message about how the CIA used to come at Jamaica, drop plane fly over, drop a plane with gun.
Yeah.
And gone.
Yeah.
The agents they used to come and give guns to the youth them, and that's how you start having the crime and violence in Kingston.
Well,
but look, that's a long.
Yeah. And more than just that, there is a program on ABC. Anybody that know it, because this is how I became aware of a lot of this stuff. On ABC, there was this program that called Like It Is, right? And it would I forgot what the guy's name is, and he was the first one to kind of, because I never knew this stuff. And when he put it out there, I started to look into it, and I'm like, wow, this is how it is.
A good movie you can watch to is Life and Death. Life and Death.
Guys, real quick.
Yet.
I feel like we're going off.
But anyway, we're not. You know, it's all related, you know. But it's at the same time we're talking about like the system or the system is created. You understand? But we should come back and talk with.
We're definitely gonna come back and talk about that.
I'm gonna do some more research on Siaga, and we do that.
Yeah. But you know, before we finish up, right? I just want you guys to touch on George Wright, and based on him, actually get called in for interview, and
they're releasing, not even calling, inviting.
Well,
invited,
whatever they did, but you know, he was at the police station, and they released him. There was no charges. There was nothing. And
I think in that case, and as a Jamaican, I am appalled. I am embarrassed, because remember we were having a conversation, and I'm like, this guy cannot walk based upon the evidence that we could see. No, for little old me can look at a video like that and see this evidence, unless the woman says, I don't want to press charges. Now in that case, the law and his tied, right? Because they can't do nothing if she doesn't want to press charges. But I just feel like how embarrassing it is that a dude took a stool and put it over a woman's head, right? Put it over a woman's head. And this guy, because I'm not going to call Mr. Wrong a man, because I don't classify him as a man. You put the stool over the woman's head. And because he's an MP, and because he has power, he was invited in by the police. They question, what over there? Yo, the woman faced with me, man, I'm going to slap her up on, all right, Bridget, go on home. Basically, that's my impression of what happened. Right? And no charges. That man should not have walked out of that station without, and that goes back to what Shani was saying. There should have been a prosecutor, because it shouldn't be left to the police. The police doesn't bring charges, and police is not supposed to bring. They can make police basically make an accusation about what you did and what they say. The prosecutor in whatever jurisdiction that is should have brought charges against him, and he should not have walked out of that station without having charges placed on him. Then after the charges are placed on him, he can get bail. He can go home, but they can say, yo, he was charged to this, which that comes with consequences with him serving in the parliament. And then from there on in, if he's found guilty, him go to jail, and if he's not found guilty and him lie good and beat the system, then it is what it is. But I would feel way better if that was how this thing played out, as opposed to he walk out. Now you will see when the people of Jamaica uphold and everybody keep going at it, eventually you may see something come of it. But I'm not hopeful. I'm not optimistic.
I think Andrew Holness need to come out and say something.
He should have said something from the beginning.
And I think like all the females in the Jamaican National Party should come out and condemn it. Camila Anderson, Babsy Grains already said something. All the females in the JLP need to say something.
To talk,
I think Juliet Holness, Andrew Holness' wife,
she needs to
say something. But I really this George Wright case is disturbing, and I hope him get some charges pressed.
You see the thing what I noticed, right? Seriously, what I really noticed is that it seems like in Jamaica, women like to get beaten by men. It's like some farm. It just seems like it to me. And because like I'm not gonna say where, when, and how, but I know like I spoke to like certain females like from Jamaica, or make certain jokes,
right,
and say certain things, and then their response will be like nonchalant when it comes to a man
My
hitting a
man
woman.
beat me, so him love me. That
Yeah,
kind of
and it's
mentality.
like-
Yeah,
It's
you
like-
see.
Yeah.
Hold on, that's
It's like
all right.
where did this? Why do they feel like
I'll
it's
tell you.
okay? And why I feel like maybe because they grew up in a community where
what
everybody's
they
saying
see.
it and
Jamaica
seeing it.
Jamaica is backwards. Put it that way. Jamaican woman want good man in she hole. Yeah, that's what they want.
Right.
Understand? You ever hear that term?
Yeah.
Good man in
Good
she
man
hole.
in she hole.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
like that.
Exactly. And then the good
Yeah.
man come out and then kill her.
Kill her, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
look, that's a story. That's a subject we should talk about. We should talk about make a video talking about why Jamaican women like
Bad man.
bad man and why they like to be abused by men.
Right.
You understand? Because this is like a psychological issue.
I think
But
they
it
like-
comes from colonialism.
I think they like to be abused by men.
I think so.
And I'm not
too.
speaking. I'm
Not-
not
not
saying
all Jamaican
I'm not saying
women.
all
Right,
women.
right,
I'm
right.
not
Yeah,
saying all
not
women.
all Jamaican
But
women.
majority
I-
women they're fine with it.
You know what? And I don't a majority, but
Yeah.
a good number of them.
Yeah, look.
And I think it's from a mentality of thinking that if my man don't beat me, don't love me. And I can say a lot of men fall into that trap.
Yeah.
Because if you meet a girl, you just think about this. You meet a girl and you crazy about her, you're in love with her, and you kind of realize the only way for me to make her line up and make this relationship work is to slap her around and push her. And as a man, you fall into those traps. But as a man, I'm also saying to you that even if you did fall into those traps, you have to recognize, okay, this is not the right thing. This is not the way you deal with this. So at this point, you have to step back out and don't let somebody make you into something you're not. And that's very important. Jamaican women, not all Jamaican women, and don't get me wrong, because there's so many Jamaican women who wouldn't put up with a man even laying a finger on them. But there is a significant number, and the dancehall culture supports this. There's a significant amount of women there that sit and feel like this is how it should be. A man slapped me around or whatever, and that he slapped me around because he loved me.
I think we should make a video on that and talk about that.
Yeah.
You understand?
Definitely, people.
But
All right.
Uh,
So everybody, good night, man. Thank you all for joining us. This is another evening with Livewire Radio 95.7 FM and livewireradio.com. You know what the program is called. It's Let's Talk with me, DP, alongside
J Star.
and of course,
Johnny B.
over on the control is Miss Ashley. And over there throwing it. So when you see all those videos switching between and all of them fancy things going on, that's all the work of Miss Ashley. So everybody, thank y'all for joining us. And look forward to the next topic that Shawnee B and J Star can put together, and we'll come and talk to you about it.
Guys,
Please,
don't forget to share, subscribe, like. You know what I mean? Tell people about the show. You know what I mean? Just support the whole thing.
and more importantly, right, in the comments, I want you to comment on what we say. And I've gotten a lot of people hitting me up or hitting our mail up saying, when is the next show being posted? People, if you watch it, just hit the subscribe button. Once you hit the subscribe button, every single time we do a show, it's gonna pop up on your phone. So make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the like and share it. All right. Thank you for joining us. Peace.